AI is accelerating the arrival of the augmented age.
So cognitive augmentation is just augmenting your own intelligence with AI-based tools like your phone to gain advantage.
So I wonder if we can just kind of keeping with this subject, but I want to touch on cognitive augmentation, because I know sometimes that term gets mixed up with artificial intelligence, although it's a form of it. There's a lot of terminology out there. So first of all, what is the augmented age? How would you define that? And then maybe you could speak to what is the distinction between cognitive augmentation and this thing we call artificial intelligence.
Yeah. Well, I watched this great TED Talk, and the guy talked about how many of you want to be cyborgs? And everyone kind of laughs. Well, we already are in a way because we have these. And of course, I think most people know the computational power in this is far, far more than what they had when they put the first man on the moon, right? And that cost billions of dollars. But now we have these in our pocket. So we have a tremendous amount of power. And so if you want to know the answer to a question, you can. And quite frankly, we proactively use the assistant, the Google Assistant, to do that, right? I like to say, don't guess, know, right? So the other day we were trying to figure something out, how many light years it is to Alpha Centauri. I actually happen to know it's 4-point-something light years, the closest star. I'm a geek about universe stuff.
Yes, I always wanted to know that.
But I ask now instead of guessing when anything, and I know, so you can know the answers to anything. So cognitive augmentation is just augmenting your own intelligence with AI-based tools like your phone to gain advantage. So again, when I did a piece on the Mars landing when they put the rover on Mars, and I did it in 4 hours. I decided to do it, did the research, asked Google the questions, how fast is it going, what's the landing stuff, some of them I knew, brought in some video, and bam, it was done. I could have never done that a decade ago at all, much less in 4 hours. And so leveraging the tools to be able to get that advantage, to know the information rather than guessing, to find out things that give more value to your tribe. Again, it's about that curating information. So using AI-based tools to curate information, that's the epitome of cognitive augmentation. You're augmenting your skills with these tools. I think at some point we'll have some things that are embedded in our brains. People are going, no, I would never do that, right? Well, people said that about airplanes, right? People are currently saying this about self-driving cars. My buddy, I would never get in a car driven by anything, right? It is only a matter of time before that changes to people that are saying, I would never get in a car with a human. They're crazy, right? Because planes, which are driven by professionals only, are the safest way to fly. They're the safest way to travel because they don't crash. That's going to happen with self-driving cars. That's going to happen with chips in our brain. I don't know how long it'll take, but it's going to happen for certain. And so it's about being on that leading edge where you can use the technology to your advantage, and that's what cognitive augmentation does, and understanding what those tools are as the ones we've been talking about. So the better you can do that, and what I say to people is just quite simply, there's lots of ways that you can increase your revenue and your profits. But one of the few ways that are completely 100% within your control is by leveraging technology and cognitive augmentation. You can write faster if you're using speech. You can create videos faster if you're using the tools that we've talked about. So that's 100% within your control, and it goes directly to the bottom line.
So it's with cognitive augmentation, it's assistive as opposed to taking you out of the equation, which you see with some of the robots replacing. Yeah,
that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
it's you leveraging the technology to your benefit to make your jobs easier, faster, simpler, better.
Okay, we'll let you off on that one. Just finally, before we leave that subject, crowd strategy. Tell me about that.
Well, crowdsourcing, of course, is not new, crowdfunding, crowdsourcing, but there's a professor at MIT that talks about machines, platforms, and crowds. Uber is a good example of that. They use technology and AI to create a platform that anyone can use, and then they crowdsource that out so that all the drivers that come on could be anywhere in the world. And then they act as the intermediary for that process. Well, that is a very profitable business model. Well, it depends on what you're doing. Uber isn't profitable yet, but other companies are. Airbnb is the same one, super profitable. And so having the ability to access the crowd, access outsourcers, access people in different areas to do things for you is really powerful. We do that. We have an outsource program in Africa where we're leveraging the lower cost of work there. There are challenges in working with Africa that we've overcome, the power and internet, things like that. But being able to leverage people in Africa to do the work gives us a huge strategic advantage because we can offer services that are 20 to 30% less. And then we add on top of that our particular attributes, our ability to move fast and use highly structured systems and processes, which allows us to do things we simply couldn't do otherwise. So by taking advantage of machines, AI technology, platforms, as we do with the free ones that for managing our systems and stuff, and crowds, you can create businesses that you simply couldn't do before. Because, for instance, with the platforms, some of the AI tools I talked about, they're supplied by Google. No small company has the ability to bring together the data sets and all the things you need to do that, but Google does. So we're simply leveraging the tools that Google brings to bear to our advantage. So again, if you're not taking advantage of cognitive augmentation, machines, platforms, and crowds, outsourcing, all of these things, then you're simply at a disadvantage. And it behooves you to do so because it's one of the easiest ways to gain advantage and increase profit.
You have been listening to the Modern Samurai interviews with Martin Ricketts, the Digital Samurai, hosted by Anita Narayan. On the next episode, we'll discuss the critical importance of content-based marketing.
Don't settle. Do work you love. Design your future. And monetize your story.